everyone. Welcome to Evolve and Execute. I'm your host, CS Rajiv Bajaj. Performance reviews were originally designed to improve growth, accountability, and organization alignment. But in many companies today, performance reviews have become stressful, delayed, overly subjective, and disconnected from actual employee development. Employees often feel misunderstood, managers feel burdened, and organizations struggle to create systems that genuinely improve performance instead of simply measuring it. So the real question is, why are traditional performance review systems failing? And more importantly, what does a modern effective performance culture actually look like? To unpack this, I'm joined by Mr. Kunal Dutta, Fractional CHRO and a leader in HR transformation and change management with deep experience in building people first performance systems. Kunal, welcome to Evolve and Execute. Great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you, Rajiv. It's my pleasure because this is one topic I've been working with a lot of companies. I've worked with MNCs, I've worked with big Indian companies, I've also worked with MSMEs. So, this one topic, performance management, has repeatedly intrigued me because I found this is an area where lot can be done, but on the ground, the
Yeah.
actual scenario is very different, especially in MSMEs, I would say.
Yeah.
And so, as you rightly said, this activity which should actually be aiming at growth, development, and alignment with the organization. But it is finally what is happening is people are stressed. It is becoming a tick box activity, and people are most of the people at the end of the whole process are not satisfied.
Yeah,
So this is
I agree with you. So, Kunal, before we really start, it would be great if you can just introduce to our audience your background exactly, which companies you have worked for, and what are you doing recently? Yeah.
right. So I am a 1992 pass out from Xavier Institute of Social Service, and those days it was not HR, it was personnel management.
Right.
So I started my career with in Gujarat. I worked with Baroda Stock Exchange, Sun Pharmaceuticals. Then I shifted to Kolkata. I joined Mitsubishi Chemicals of Japan at their India unit. So I worked in various departments there. I had a good opportunity in working in, apart from HR, I also worked in logistics and marketing. And I spent 18 years of my career there. So, from Mitsubishi Chemicals, which is a petrochemical sector company, I moved to pharmaceuticals. I worked with Juventus Healthcare. I worked with Alchem Laboratories. I also worked with power sector like India Power and Vikram Solar. And finally, before I started my own, today I'm a fractional HR, and I also take HR projects. But just before this, I was with the hospitality industry, which goes by the name of Udan Hotels and Resorts Limited and AirIQ Limited. So they are into hospitality and B2B air ticketing. So that's
Yeah.
my
Quite
career.
a varied, quite a experience. And incidentally, I'm also a 92 pass out company secretary and I worked with Japanese companies, so I can very much relate to your area of expertise in Mitsubishi. So, Kunal, let's start with the core issue. Why do traditional performance reviews fail in so many organizations?
See, the fundamental reason is most of the performance management systems which are being followed today, the annual appraisal, are designed for a period where the world itself was very different, the business world. So things are very predictable, things were slower, and annual goal setting and annual review were maybe sufficient at that point of time, but that world is gone now. So today we have a fast changing business scenario, and it needs a different system today. So
Yeah.
basically, there are three things which I think are wrong with the current with the traditional performance management. One is the timing. It's, as I said, it's an annual event, but today performance is not an annual event. But the system we follow is a annual appraisal, and which creates problems due to recency effect, because human by nature human memory is, it takes into consideration the recent past. The second issue is, lot of conversations which are taking place are, uh, we are mixing up compensation and performance. These two are different issues. Of course, compensation is an outcome of the performance management, but whenever we discuss it together, the focus goes to compensation, because every employee is, the focus, they do not focus on the discussion about the performance. So that is the second point. And the third one, which I strongly feel, is we are investing a lot on systems, but the main problem is not the system, it is the people who are doing the essence, who are running the management performance management system.
Right.
Because however good systems, or it's like if you have a good car, good road, but the driver is not good, ultimately you the car is going to crash. But even with a somewhat not a very good car, not a very good road, the driver is, so the person driving it is more important. That has not been actually focused into. So
Right.
it's the
Absolutely.
system problem. It's people who are driving it.
So, as you rightly said, the annual review systems are becoming outdated, and in today's fast-moving work culture, uh, new things are evolving. So, can you throw some light on what are the new innovative performance review systems which are coming up?
Yeah, see, today I will I was just going through one thing is Adobe. Adobe is one company which has introduced monthly check-in systems, wherein
Mhm.
today, because the goals we are setting at the beginning of the year, the due to the fast changing world today, those are not static. We have to go back, we have to do performance discussions monthly. Maybe it not be a very long discussion, maybe a 20-minute check-in, and review the goal. Maybe the goals have to be realigned, goals have to be rethought, and we have to come out of the annual thing. Annual out thing will be just an aggregation of the monthly or fortnightly, whatever it is, the organization can decide it. This is one. And number two is, the people, as I told, the people driving it, they have to be very well uh, sensitized about their role. It's not just at the year end putting some final. They are not a referee just giving a final verdict. They should act like coach. But as the game is going on, they should continuously help people, discuss with them. And these are the two areas I think the modern thing. Of course, there are things like, with AI coming, analytics and things are getting stronger, but those are just tools. Those are not going to change the system. Ultimately, these two, continuous feedback and sensitization of the managers who are driving the system, this has to be, this is the area where companies have to focus. If this is done, I think even if the system is okay, not a very good one, still if the intent and the capability is there, it can be driven.
Very nice. So, what are the bigger or the biggest frustration which employees and managers experience during the performance reviews? You have lots of experience, so you can share
Yes.
some of them.
See, the thing is, both the strange thing is both are stressed. So from the employee side, I think it's basically, as I said, it's an annual affair at the end of the year. Say after March 31st, the manager says you have been doing this things wrong. So this is one thing where the employee might feel why there was not prior uh,
Intimation. Yeah.
back, which could have helped him to rectify.
Yeah.
Number two is there are a lot of vagueness. Vagueness in the sense you should have been more proactive, you should have been more, uh, you should have improved your communication. So these are very vague terms, which, so the vagueness is one thing which uh, puts stress on the employee, because it is very difficult to understand where exactly in the communication he should improve, where exactly in his uh, I would say proactiveness, what kind of proactiveness. So this should be specified in very specific terms. And the third thing which employees feel is sometimes it is due to the bell curve and all. The employees get a feeling that the ratings are already fixed. It is not based on the conversation, performance conversation which is happening. Maybe so they find the conversation is not productive. Maybe the ratings are already finalized. This is from the employee side. From the manager side, I would say most of the managers I've seen, especially I will come back to MSMEs. Most of the managers have been promoted from individual contributors due to their performance, individual contribution to the organization. They have never been groomed up on how to make difficult conversations, how to give feedback. So for them also, it's a stressful thing. So when they, if it is a good employee, so it is very easy to say you have done well and okay. But when they actually have to give negative feedback or make difficult conversations, it becomes very stressful for the manager. And because most of these companies are following bell curve, again there has to be force fitting, which sometimes uh, might not reflect the actual performance of the employee, but the manager has to force fit somebody. So these are the few things which add stress to the employee and the manager.
Absolutely. So, how can organizations shift from evaluation-focused reviews to growth-focused conversations? Because that's the order of the day. Oh,
See, first they have to look into the process. So process means uh, they have to make a structural change of separating the compensation discussion and the performance discussion. Performance discussion has to be continuous, regular, maybe monthly or fortnightly, or to start with even quarterly, but not annual. So that has to be done. Compensation discussion can happen at the end of the year once the performance has been assessed over a period of time. And because that will actually make the feedback session very effective. Otherwise, if it is together, as I said earlier also, once you start, once you talk about the compensation, the whole focus of the employee is no more listening to the feedback. He is calculating his monthly salary increase, and he has started comparing. So the focus shifts. Second is uh, we should, the conversation should happen today. Most of the conversation is happening regarding what did you do, uh, how much did you achieve. That is post-mortem. That is, you are just trying to understand what happened. But the conversation should include what you could have done, what further, as it is a monthly feedback. So manager should ask how it is going on, where he wants to reach, what are the obstacles he is facing, and how the manager can help him to overcome those. So it should, the employee should feel that this conversation will help him to improve the performance. And when we set targets, the KPIs, there should be involvement of the employee for whom these KPIs are being, so that ownership has to be built in.
Right.
So as that ownership is built in, it they will not be motivated. They will not be passionate about that KPI.
So,
And as I told them again, the manager has to also be more like a coach, not a judge, just giving verdict. He has
right.
to try to give feedback which will help the employee in performing better.
Further improving. Right. So, what role does continuous feedback play in modern performance management? I think you already touched it, but if you can elaborate it. Yeah.
See, this is it is like I would say in a game, say we see football matches. The coach is from the sideline continuously providing inputs.
Yeah.
So, so if we see if that is not happening, say the coach at the end of the game only comes and says that this they during this period you could have done this, and he is just giving a post-mortem report. Then the
Right.
game is already over. But when the coach is continuously from the sidelines giving a feedback, giving a yeah, so that will give an opportunity to the employee to correct if he is going wrong. If he is going right, he will keep doing that. So if at the end of the year he comes to know that I have been doing wrong, that is meaningless. That's a just I think there is no chance to improve upon. So
All
I
right.
think yeah.
So, bias is another very, important aspect which actually makes the performance assessment, um, system. Sometimes people challenge it. So, how can
Mhm.
leaders make performance assessment more objective and less biased?
See, uh, objective, of course, they have to be. There are two parts of the performance. One is the effort which goes into the job and the outcome. So the outcome is important because that is a very specific number,
Right.
right? So uh, we have to focus, create KPIs which are very measurable, as we very commonly know, smart targets. So that is very important. So we have to create multiple KPIs to view the performance from a different perspective, different angles. And if there are multiple stakeholders, like a guy in HR is working with a lot of other departments, so there has to be a calibration with other managers. I need to check how others are feeling about this person. If I have doubt, if the numbers are not very clear, so that calibration has to be done. And managers have to be, when performance conversations are happening, managers have to be uh, trained on giving structured feedback, like what we do in star interview. We go for a situation, task, action, and result. So similarly, situation, behavior, impact. So on this basis, they should uh, have the conversation with the employee, which will be very constructive, and uh, very specific observable behaviors will be uh, captured. So rather than otherwise, it will be like a very general impression. It will be very vague.
Okay. So, what are you know, uh, the common mistakes companies make while designing KPI and performance metrics? Can you just touch a few of them?
Okay, so one is sometimes companies mix up activities with outcome. As in the previous point, I talked about outcome. Outcomes are very important. Activities, of course, will lead to outcome, but only focusing on activities without measuring outcomes is one area uh, the companies make mistake. So one is outcome. Second is I've seen many companies they when they make KPIs, lot of multiple maybe 15 20 KPIs. But we have to understand then if there are too many KPIs, none of them are key. It cannot be KPIs should be 3 to 5 max, which has to be at the core of the performance. Those 3 to 5 KPIs should be focused on. There might be a lot of other areas it might be impacting, but if there are 15 20 KPIs, none of them are important. So we have to try to uh, fix KPIs within 3 to 5. And third one is not involving people in uh, deciding the KPIs. So this is another area, as I touched this area earlier also, that ownership will not come. So these are the common mistakes. And the another one which requires the continuous conversation is KPIs cannot be kept static. What has been decided at the beginning of the year cannot remain the same because situation is changing and we have to review it from time to time, and if required it has to be reviewed.
So, how important is managers' capability in making the performance system successful in your experience?
That's at the beginning of this session I spoke about. That's the most important part. I think whatever said and done, if the manager has the intent and he is involved, even with a broken system, he can do correct assessment. So there are two parts. One is the again the intent and the capability. So we have to see whether the intent is there or not. It has to be created. They have to be sensitized that this is not apart from his job. This is their most important jobs. Managers do not give results. The team gives the results, and if the managers have to take this activity very seriously. So the intent has to be created and the capability. Sometimes
Yeah.
the managers have the right intent, but they do not know how to make difficult conversations, feedback, how to coach. So these things, managers' capability has to be improved. Otherwise, whatever system we put, the best of systems we put will collapse without the capability of managers.
Right. Absolutely. So, can technology and AI improve performance management, or do the risk making it more mechanical? What is your take on it?
See, this is a very good thing happening with AI coming in. So, uh, I think it's a very good tool. So,
Yeah.
we should do it as a tool which will give faster compilation of data, great analytics, and uh, any it will remove the biases because but at the end, as performance management, the core of the performance management is the conversation which is happening between the manager and the employee. So the
Right.
manager has a better tool to assess, to analyze, and talk to the team. So, but if the conversation is not happening, then whatever the AI is doing will go to drain. So why is a very good tool? It's a tool which has to be used by the human.
All right. That's a very pertinent way to look at it. If an organization wants to redesign its performance review process today, where
Mhm.
should it begin?
It should begin. See, first is as there has to be a structural change. That is, uh, this compensation thing and the performance thing has to be separated. That is one structural change. And second is regular feedback sessions has to be incorporated. It can be a just plain simple conversation, no need to have ratings and all. Just revisit the KPIs, how things are going on, where the employee needs some support, and train the managers. It's not just a briefing activity, it's a dialogue which should happen, which should at the end help the employee to understand where he should rectify. Simplify your KPIs. And one point is we should regularly review the performance management system itself, because today the way the world is changing. So whether today we start a system and it might not be the perfect, we have to revisit it. We cannot have a system and then keep it for maybe 4 5 6 years. We can keep it, but we have to review it periodically. That is, I
Yeah,
think. And we basically, these steps have to be taken. Sometimes I see when I work with MSMEs, they are checking many points and trying to make it a perfect system. But it's better to have a system which is in the right direction than the perfect system. There can be
right.
improve. We can improve it continuously. So
Absolutely. Kunal, we have come to a very interesting part of our conversation, which is a rapid fire round,
okay,
where we'll have a quick performance culture check, and we expect online answers to the questions which I'll be asking.
right.
So, annual review or continuous feedback? What is your take?
Of course, continuous feedback. Annual reviews are just year-end judgments, report card, but it's like a student getting a. So check, basically conversations are like compass giving direction. So
Right.
on the best.
All right, great, well taken. KPI or culture fit?
See, both are important, but if I have to choose one, it has to be culture fit, because KPIs deal with skill which are we can improve, but
Right.
values and culture are difficult to.
Absolutely. Performance pressure or performance support?
Of course, performance support. This activity should not be seen as a stressful activity. So support will produce results.
Right. Biggest flaw in traditional appraisals?
See, I would say one of the biggest flaw is the recency bias, because at the year end, when the annual appraisal comes, everybody is in a hurry to uh, expedite it, and
Right.
whatever the recently happened, it gets reflected on the appraisal.
Right. All right. Ratings or conversations?
Of course, conversations again. The ratings are just outcomes. Don't need to discuss ratings. We have to have
Right.
conversation.
Transparency or flexibility?
Of course, transparency is priority. Flexibility will be, even if there is flexibility, there should be transparency why the changes are happening.
Right.
So,
No.
transparency.
Yeah, I also had an experience that people are very touchy about
Yes,
if you
yes.
change their
Right.
appraisal or anybody's appraisal, others will get affected. So we used to have a policy, stick to one. No? So, and of course, transparency is important. Employee engagement or productivity, what drives the other?
I think engagement drives productivity.
Right.
Engaged employee will definitely go beyond his normal scope to give results.
Yeah. One leadership quality every manager should develop.
Again, coming back to that, the main thing is having honest, transparent conversations with team.
Most underrated part of the performance management.
Uh, I would say it is expectation setting. So, what is expected should be clearly stated at the beginning of the year. That is one, that is the underrated part. I think people miss it.
Right. Modern performance culture in one word,
Conversation.
conversation.
Yeah.
That's very pretty much straight answers. What stands out from today's conversation is that performance management should not feel like judgment. It should
Yeah.
be like direction, clarity, and growth. Organizations that rethink performance reviews are not just improving evaluation, they are building stronger culture, better leadership, and more engaged teams. So, Kunal, thank you for sharing your valuable insights on how organization can move from outdated review system to meaningful performance transformation. I think a lot can be done in this area. So, to all our listeners, performance isn't built in one annual meeting. It is shaped through continuous alignment, trust, and communication. So, Kunal, one last word of advice for our, viewers who are a combination of startups and MSME entrepreneurs.
So, as I have been repeating during the whole conversation, I would ask every manager who is doing this, when is the last time you had a very real, honest conversation with your team? And if you are not able to remember, recollect, then that's the starting point. You should immediately start that activity. So, as I said, performance is not annual meeting. It's built by regular small span conversations we have. So start today.
Great. Thank you very much, Kunal, for sparing time and sharing your valuable thoughts with us. So until next time, keep evolving, keep executing. This is CS Rajiv Bajaj signing off from Evolve and Execute. Do stay tuned and subscribe to our channel. That's the best thing to do. We keep on bringing these high level conversations for you. Thank you so much. Thank you.